Hello students, and a warm welcome or welcome back to those of you who are back again. So I've been keeping a little bit busy with boards examinations and other students' work, so I couldn't upload a video. But I'm back again with our with the continuation of our discussion of argumentative essay. So in the last video we learned that what is important for the introduction of an argumentative essay. What would make a proper introduction of an argumentative essay? Today we'll get into the body. So as stated before going into the body, just to recapitulate, what is it that we need to do when we're writing an argumentative essay? We need to, as I said, straight shoot ahead. So we need to be sure from the very first instance that what are we standing for? Are we going to talk for the topic, or are we going to talk against the topic? So that is the two things that we have to keep it clear. And how can we keep it clear? By coming up with very simple yet intelligent, so simple interesting opening hook where you attract the reader by your knowledge and you take them in and say, this is what I believe in, this is what I want to prove, this is what my argument is all about. That is our introduction, and there itself, in that point, you are giving a brief introduction. If possible, write a little bit more, give 2 points there, brief points. You do not need to go into too much detail in the introduction, but brief points, because one of the issues that the councils have when they gave their feedback was the fact that there was a lack of points. They said that the students did not write enough points. So my dear students, do not do that. Please give them enough points. That's important for you, to give them enough points so that they do not feel that there is a lack of points in your argumentative essay, right? Before going into the details about writing the body, I am also going to talk to you about certain things that you should not do. Certain things that you should not do for your argumentative essay. And one of the things that you should not do is give insufficient points. Please give them 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 points. That's the best. The ideal is 4 to 5 points. Give them 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 points. That should be there in your argumentative essay. If that is there, you are good to go. Your essay is a solid gold. Okay, so please give them 3 to 5 points. Next thing that is there, when you are we'll get to that, okay, because if I tell you right now, then the body structure wouldn't be properly explained. Okay, so when beginning with body, one of the problems we have is like, ma'am, okay, I have done the introduction, I've talked about how CCTV, I've talked about technological advancement, and I have talked about that with this we have something which will make our life easier. How will it make our life easier? Because we can maintain the decorum and discipline by installing CCTV. I've talked about that. Now, how do I go forward? What do I do? As humans, obviously, it's not possible for us to have everything at the tip of our finger, all the points. So we are going to take a breather. We are going to just wait for a minute, and then we are going to think, okay, CCTV cameras should be installed in the premise. What does CCTV does in our life? It gives us a sense of security. But in school environment, in college environment, what would it do? Again, it will give a sense of security to us. How will it give a sense of security to us? It will give a sense of security because we will know who the wrongdoers are. If there's a wrongdoing, if there's something wrong that has happened, then we'll know. And what is the wrongdoing behavior? What is that in school environment? It's indiscipline. So we'll know that. So that's how you connect. Do not try and get very confused. Just think a little bit, and the points will come. Like bachas, the points will come to your head. Just you have to push and think a little bit. So my first point is about that indiscipline. So how I'm going to go about it? My point is, a lot of you students, what you do is you just write the point and then you leave it. No, child. The argumentative essay and argumentative essay always go with twofold approach. What is this twofold approach? The twofold approach in an argumentative essay is, क्या करना है बच्चा, आपको दो एफर्ट, डबल एफर्ट डालना है. क्या डबल एफर्ट है? डबल एफर्ट है बच्चा, illustrate and elaborate. Illustrate and elaborate, और illustrate and strengthen. अगर हम कुछ बोल रहे होते हैं, for instance, my favorite, you're talking in a conversation, you and your friend are having a conversation about favorite food, and you say, I like biryani, and a friend like, your friend says, I like pizza, but then you went, oh yes, and no. When we are saying I like biryani because whenever I have biryani, or my mother cooks the best biryani, or stuff like that. So it's very important for us then to elaborate, to give an explanation. Generally human conversation bhi jo hum karte hain, beta language literature all about is about human society and human conversation, right? Human communication. At the core of your socials, at the core of your literature language paper is the basic thing that we see in our society, and we're learning how to become better at it, right? So beta yahan pe bhi point pe aap jab likh rahe ho, you write your point and then you prove it कि मैं ऐसा क्यों सोचता हूँ, why do I think like this, what is it, I have to prove it, why should anyone believe you. Anything and everything about argumentative is जब हम argue करें कि मैं ये चीज़ पे believe करता हूँ, मुझे prove करना है सामने वाले पे ताकि the person gets convinced. So you have to convince the examiner. You cannot just write your point and leave it. That's a half-baked point. Give them the full dish, right? So what are you going to do, bacha, then? You are going to go ahead and you are going to write the whole point. How are you going to write the whole point? So you're going to go ahead and touch on that. First of all, your point. Begin with your point because that's something that has come to your head. Okay, so school environment is in an environment like school, or in a place like school, we have an environment where there are lots and lots of cases of indiscipline and ill-mannered behavior. A lot of times teachers are put in a situation where they have to deal with crisis, where they have to deal with situations full of crisis, where who is the culprit, where the identity of the culprit is perhaps not known or perhaps is argued. In a situation like this, a CCTV camera would be quite helpful because a teacher would know, would be aware, would have a record of who the wrongdoer is. And also not just that, but if the teacher keeps the surveillance, then such wrongdoing behavior would not even take place, and school will become a place which solely focuses on education and good, well-mannered behavior. So school will become a place which is a place of good, well-mannered behavior, and it's a place where education is imparted, right? So that's my point. I've done that. I have now. How's the twofold approach that I've learned? First of all, I said ki, okay, there's indiscipline in school, and then I proved this indiscipline. I elaborated it. What does it lead to? What is it? And if the CCTV is there, then how can this indisciplined behavior be prevented? So that's there. That's my one or two points. My 1 or 2 points is there in just this one single paragraph. Next, coming to it, better try and make sure, at least try that one point leads to another. There's a flow to essay. When we're reading, when you're talking, we like things which flow, which seamlessly one thing enters into another. So that's also important if you can, because you have ample of time right now to practice your essays and get good marks, because that will make your percentage go a lot higher. Scoring well in language, scoring well in literature will make your percentage go a lot higher. And it is easy to score well in language and literature if you do the hard work, if you follow what I'm telling you to follow. But if you don't, then then nothing can be done, right? So related to this, now I'm thinking, yes, I wrote about indiscipline, and I told how does this indiscipline happen, wrongdoing happen, ill mannerisms happen, and then the CCTV camera, we could know who is doing it, and also with this we can prevent that as well because there's a CCTV camera, right? Apart from that, you could also hint on the fact that many a times it's not just the indisciplined behavior of the students that leads to a crisis. A lot of times severe or drastic elements like theft also happen in the premise of a classroom, or also happen in the premises of the school, and this leads to a lot of confusion, and most of the time the culprit is unknown, and the child who ends up losing, or the child who ends up getting their things stolen is left with no definite solution. However, having a CCTV camera in a school premise, in school classrooms, would not lead to this behavior. It would help that child. It would, in case of a theft, it would prevent that theft or the child, or it will help to stop that theft by keeping a surveillance and by knowing who is the child or who is the culprit in this case. So one, you have said about indiscipline. Second, you have said that sometimes these theft happens, so these thefts could be prevented. Again, my point is there, and then I elaborated what is this theft, how does it happen, what is it that goes on. So my one point was again indiscipline. Related to that, my point was how indiscipline could be prevented, and then the third point is theft. Then the fourth point, bacha, what you could do is, it's not just the students who's it's not just the students who should be there under the purview under the center, who should be the center of this CCTV surveillance. Even the teachers, if CCTV cameras are installed, then the teachers who are not doing their work properly, who are being lenient, the leniency of the teacher, the negligent behavior of the teacher could also be prevented. A lot of teachers come and do not take the class properly, or take the class or do not even come for the classes. In that cases and scenario, having a CCTV camera is quite handy, because then a check could also be put on the behavior of the teacher. The burden would be there both on the students and the teacher to be at their best behavior. CCTV hence acts as a tool which makes sure that the discipline of the school is maintained. So again, I am coming to my fourth point by focusing on the teacher. I'm bringing now, because every time it's a student, let's add a twist to it. Why can't we look at it from that perspective as well? So even the teachers can be put, even a check can be put on the teacher due to the CCTV. So my fourth points are already there. Now I'll try and think what could be my fifth point. How could I elaborate it? So let's think about something. Like let's think about what could be my fourth point. How could I write the fourth point? So indiscipline. Yes, my fourth point could also be about when we are talking about students. Now this should ideally actually come after the theft. Not only is the theft problem, but a lot of the times, a lot of the issues is that a lot of the students end up bunking classes and loitering in the corridor, or not paying attention and leaving classes, or making excuses to not attend classes, and behaviors and display behaviors like that. In case of a CCTV, in case of the installation of CCTV, a stop would be put on these behavior. Students would be there'll be a sense of duty, there'll be sense of obligation, students to attend their classes properly, and to know that if they do not, then the CCTV surveillance is basically keeping a record, keeping a check. Then the surveillance by the CCTV camera would put a check on this disrespectful behaviors of theirs, and hence they would not be putting any inappropriate behavior. They'll be at their best behavior. So this is my 1, 2, 3. This is my fourth point. And then related to the fourth point, you slip in your teacher's point, because it's not just the students who's the installation of CCTV would not just put a check on the behavior of the students, but also on the behavior of the teachers who are being negligent, teachers who are being negligent or who are not doing their duties properly would also come under the surveillance of CCTV, and hence proper education would be maintained. This is there. Now what is the whole crux of my essay? The whole crux of my essay is that CCTV is actually a boon. CCTV is very helpful. It's instrumental in doing what? In ensuring that proper education is provided to all of the students. So that is the point that I'm going to put as my conclusion, because in conclusion you either come up with something very interesting, or in conclusion you come up with the summarization of whatever you've written so far, whatever approach. If you come with because at that point, child, when you're writing an examination, it's all about timing. It's all about keeping a track of the timing. So it might not be possible for you to it wouldn't be what am I saying? It wouldn't be clever of you. It wouldn't be clever of you to waste your time. It wouldn't be clever of you to waste your time 10 to 15, because there even 5, 7, 10, 15 minutes are crucial. So if you think that you can say, if you can put across your point in conclusion, in summarization, go with summarization. As long as it's intelligent, as long as it's valid, as long as it's not too basic. The goal is you have to keep it above that basic level. It should be simplistic, but it should not be but it should not be too basic. So you have to make sure that it's not too basic, and then it makes sense. It seems intelligent. It seems that it's coming from an educated student's brain. Yes, you're good to go. That's it. That's fine. Don't take any unnecessary stress or pressure. So then you could summarize that CCTV hence is quite instrumental in making sure that proper education and behavior is imparted in the school premise. So CCTV would ensure that the discipline of the school is not only maintained but also sustained. So till now we were saying maintain, but now we're saying because CCTV is there, that it will not just be maintained, or instead of writing maintain, you could actually go with sustain. So maintain and sustain are more or less same, only that it just continues. So it is sustained. There is no wrongdoer. There isn't any wrongdoer. There isn't any negligent behavior on the part of the teacher or on the part of the students, and the goal of the school to impart proper education and to give the best guidance and make a overall development in the lives of the student would be fulfilled by the installation of CCTV cameras. So that's there. And one more tip that I would like to give is also that you could also say you include what would happen in its absence. So in its absence, if CCTV cameras are not installed, then perhaps the school environment, then perhaps the way a school environment would be quite a school environment, perhaps, because we're not sure, so perhaps might be quite different from when a CCTV is installed. Installation of a CCTV ensures that a kind of discipline is maintained, which perhaps would not be there if CCTVs are not installed. Hence it gives it ensures discipline, it gives security, and propagates best behavior and make sure that the best behavior is propagated by the teachers and the students. So there, your CCTV installation essay is completed. And this is how we write argumentative essays. right? So students, this is the whole structure of argumentative essay. Now, for students who wish to, like, get the whole of it, so what is the things that you need to focus on, bacha? Write a simple introduction, interesting simple introduction to hook your readers in. Give a point. One of the points is by talking about how that has been there in our life, or by coming up with something intelligent. That depends on each and every essay. The more you practice, the more you practice these kind of essays, because with my classes I've been making students practice these essays. So the more you practice these essays, it totally depends on your practice. The more idea you will get. If you do not practice, you won't get an idea. So you have to practice. You have to make sure that you keep on doing as many of these essays. Then coming to 3 to 5 points. 3 to 5 points are ideal. Do not just write the point, explain them, explain the significance of the point. Try to persuade your reader to believe in your point. Okay, do not repeat. Yes, I know in this essay I told discipline, decorum, because essay required, every essence of it was based on discipline and decorum. But most of this, so some of the essays might have that case, but most of the essays won't. So do not especially do not repeat points. Do not repeat your points. You could repeat a word or so, but that also I refrain my students. Try to come up with as many vocabulary, as many words as you can. Try to make your vocabulary rich, present rich vocabulary to the examiner, so that you come across a well-learned student, right? So do not do any kind of repetition. Try to refrain from it as much as you can. And please go for or against. Be very clear. Do not be like, I'm here also, I'm there also. No, I'm just at one place. Take your stance. Conclude with an interesting idea or with a summary. And obviously make sure that you have logical reasoning. You're logically arguing for your point. Do not write anything and everything. Logic should be there. So whatever point you're writing, back it up by logic that is there. So logical reasoning. Repetitive arguments, please do not go for repetitive arguments. That shows that you lack material, you lack content. Please do not repeat points. Okay. And then please, when you're writing points, give illustration. Elaboration, very important. Illustrate it. Examples do. Batao. Proof karo. Give your proof. And give a lot of insufficient number of arguments. Do not make it too short. And very important, the tone of it should be objective. You are not writing personal essays. You're not writing narrative essays. Tone of it should be objective. Write it in objective format. The format, objective tone, like that of an article, like that of a report. So please make it objective. Personal nahi dalna hai. Objective dalna. It's an argumentative. One does that, one does this. Make it objective. So this is there, students, for your argumentative essay, or the best tips to write an argumentative. If you follow these tips, I can assure you that out of 20 you have the possibility of getting 17 to 19, provided that your language is good, your grammar is good, and you have followed all of these points. So if you do that, you're good to go to get a really good marks in your argumentative essay. It doesn't get better than this. This is the crux of it. This is all that is there to a good argumentative essay. Now for your bonus, what I'm going to tell you is, please write an essay. I'm going to give you an essay topic which perhaps might come in your examination. And that is because what I've noticed is that from a couple of years, the council has been giving a lot of essays based on students' life, discipline, decorum, library. Previous year they had library. There's something about I do not exactly, 2023 paper also had something to do with students' life. So that's a pattern that has been there. Now this year they could break that pattern. That's definitely there, or they could actually go with the pattern. So a bonus topic, as I promised you in the first video, a bonus topic that I'm going to give to you that you could focus on, especially ICSE kids, is routine forms an integral part of a student's life. Write an essay for or against this statement. This is a topic that I'm giving. please go ahead, write an essay about it. Make sure you include all the points and practice it. Make sure you get the best marks out there. Make sure that effort is there, and make sure that you are on your way to become not only a good student, not only a student to score well, but also a well-educated individual. So there it is. Good night, students. Take care. I'll come with my next video, which will be on literature and also on preposition. I'm going to give you 5 prepositions which are surely going to come in your ICSE examination. These 5 prepositions, they are mostly there, surely, not totally, maybe, but mostly they are there, because I'm not setting the paper. I have no clue about anything, so I'm just going to try and give my best out there. So most probably they'll be there. Okay, till then, bye bye, take care, happy learning. Utilize these videos, make the best out of whatever short time you have, and study well. Just study well and do the best. That's all you can do. Okay, bye bye.